Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the EFRA 1/8 IC Euros here in Ettlingen in Germany, a magnificent facility with weather to match this morning as we're heading into qualifying round 3 with our coverage of the top heats here on RC Racing TV. My name's Adam Johnson, along with Frank McKinney, Paul Bateman, and the team up here. Our coverage presented by HB Europe, D'Agostini Model Space, and EFRA themselves, who have once again excelled in putting on a great event out here. And we are well into qualifying in what has been a fascinating event so far with these high-powered nitro cars. Their Can-Am bodies putting on a great show. They make a great sight and sound. But all eyes at the moment as to whether there are two drivers out here in the heats you're going to see right now who could lock themselves in straight away into the high finals for Saturday's main event. And let's show you the starting lineup for the first of these top heats in round 3. And here it is for you. Once again, a little bit of inversion going on. There are 5 rounds of qualifying, remember. We had 2 of them yesterday. But as we go through, they will invert different numbers of drivers from the start. So as you can see, the top 6 seeds in this heat are 5th through 10th. So the bottom 4, if you will, 7, 8, 9, 10, are 1, 2, 3, 4. Andrea Bjertin, the former world champion, remember. One most definitely to watch in this one. Alberto Pico, Merlin Depta, Andrea Pirani will be a top 4 in this one. Followed off by Francesco Tironi, the number 1 car, and the number 2 of Bruno Coelho. Now there is the man to watch. He won both of his heats yesterday in qualifying rounds 1 and 2. Now the way this system works is you drop your 2 worst results over the 5, so it's your 3 best. So if you can win 3 rounds of qualifying, that effectively locks you into the final. You're just about there. So Coelho is going to be gunning for victory here to lock himself into the final at the earliest possibility. And then it'll be up to everyone else to go into the Super Bowl later today, which will be fascinating to watch. So Coelho is the man to watch here. Patrick Schaefer will be one of many trying to stop him. Mirko Salimi behind them in 8th. 9th is Dominic Greiner in the bright pink number 5 car. He's been very rapid over the past few days. He's been very good. Very strong. He's running the Serpent car, the bright pink car that you can't miss at all on our cameras. And then Nicola Morone in the number 6 X-Ray car was also putting in some good times in qualifying too. So the setup is moving closer for her. So watch out for the number 6 as well. As we're just going through the initial warm-up here. And there indeed is, I believe, the number 5. No, it's not. That's the number 4 of Mirko Salimi. Maybe another bright colour car. That's more a bright kind of orange, although that can show as a little bit pink on the cameras as well. The sun is still fairly low here in Ettlingen in Germany. Lovely part of the country here, and we're being bathed with gorgeous weather. I'm taking a quick weather check. There is literally not a cloud as far as the eye can see. It is gorgeous weather. It's good for racing. And as we've had some heats already here in qualifying 3, the track will be starting to heat up. The track will be warmed in, and that dark groove there, as we've got some stick lane down in the pit lane, that's the number 2. I think that's Coelho. That's Bruno Coelho's car in the lane, and some of the crew don't look particularly happy, so is something not right aboard Coelho's car? I don't think it's come back out either, so we hope that's just them retiring to the lane to conclude warm-up, because there is 30 seconds remaining of warm-up, and most of the cars coming back into the lane now before the start of this hotly anticipated heat. And speaking of heat, you'll see as our starter there is waiting to wave them off. He'll wave them off one by one. They'll all get a designated slot so they don't kind of run over each other on the way out of the lane. So then, here we go. First of our top heats in qualifying round 3. Can Bruno Coelho guarantee his place in the finals of the 1/8 IC Euros 2015, or will someone be able to stop him? There's his start, and we are underway. We're down and away, and it's the number 7 of Andrea Bjertin, the 2-time world champion, who'll be leading them down. If you're going to look for anyone to try and deny Coelho here and turn it round, it's got to be that guy. Very rapid in his HB car. As you can see already, setting a fierce pace here. It takes a few laps to shake out. And obviously for most of our viewers, you'll know the qualifying format here for EFRA, but just in case you don't, a little reminder, it's not about your fastest lap in the session, it's about how many laps you can complete in the time. So you can see the timer in the top right there. That'll count down and it's about how many laps you can complete in that 5-minute time span. So obviously you've got to keep nailing off as fast as laps as possible, but you can't just do it over one lap, you've got to do it consistently. So it does take a few laps to shake down and see who's getting the early pace out, but I can tell you for a fact, the guy who is actually leading the early standings is the number 8 of Alberto Pico. Let's see if we can pick out the number 8 car as he's coming through. And he is... There he is. It's the white car coming down to the EFRA hairpin now. Third of the 3 white cars coming up to the HB carousel now. So he's the third in that shot. There he is. And he is up there in the early going. It's Alberto Pico, the Italian. We didn't see this sort of pace from him yesterday, but obviously they've been working overnight on the cars, and they've been able to find something, because he is right up there. Tironi and Coelho, the expected Coelho up there, are your other guys up there, as well as Francisco Tironi. And Dominic Greiner so far has not really been able to get going, but I wonder if the sunshine is playing a little bit of an effect here, because the driver stand is literally just to our cameraman's left, and the sun is kind of shining from across the track at an angle. So I wonder if there's any light issues there, although I can see they are mostly shaded by some nice blinds up there, so that should be okay for them. But as I say, track conditions are going to be very tricky out there. You can see the sun shining down on the track. You can also see, as you get on that excellent shot there, you can see that dark line around the track. That's not just the racing line, that is the line where everyone goes down, and that darkness is caused by a mix of rubber from the tyres rubbering down and burnt oil. From the way these nitromethane cars work, they burn off some oil and they leave that down. And you may think oil, you've been conditioned to say oil, you know, is a bad thing, that's slippy, but it kind of meshes with the rubber, forms a brand new compound, and when that heats up, very sticky, incredibly grippy. So you'll see there the number 8 car sticking religiously to that groove there. Let's see if we can find the number 10 of Andrea Pirani, because he's jumped up. Here he is coming through the EFRA hairpin now, so he'll be up towards the HP carousel right now. Coming through, there he is. The kind of white with red and green flashes on his car. He's just jumped up to the top of the standings. It's a very competitive session early doors here. Coelho is definitely not having it in his own way, and that's exactly what we want here. Coelho is putting in some dominant performances yesterday, and the whole field, with the exception of Tironi and Schaefer as it stands, are predicted to do 23 laps here. So it is just a case of how quickly they can do that 23 laps. And at the moment, it's a rotating kind of act of about 4 or 5 drivers who are constantly in and out there. But the fact is, Coelho and Pirani are right at the sharp end. Alberto Pico is still hanging in there. But Pirani, in the WRC car is doing very strongly. And as you can see, he'll stay right in that groove if he can, because that's where the most grip is. Because as soon as you go into the lighter areas, that's where there's none of that rubber, none of that burnt oil that's stuck down, and you get no grip at all. This is the EFRA hairpin here, coming through now. Slowest bit into the fastest bit. They'll hit up to 60 miles an hour down this straight. It's the HP carousel, which is very banked over. It's kind of cambered in. So it's a tricky technical track, but it's a very enjoyable one to watch as well. Let's see if we can find the number 2 of Coelho, because he is still at the sharp end. Here he is. He'll come up to the HP carousel now. Is the orange and white car coming into shot now. There he is. And once again, no surprise to anyone, he makes a little mistake off the final corner. It's very easy to do. Those rumble strips, you can't really afford to headbutt them, but you've got to get as close as possible to kind of tuck the left wheels into right on the white line. You'll see there in the Jagstini D. They come around to complete another lap here. There we go, up here, turn 1 and 2, then the EFRA hairpin, slow part, the double apex left there. You don't want to actually clip the apex, you want to try and run out wide to get as much speed in. And we'll see next time he comes round the exact point where the 2-speed transmission changes up to the 2nd gear. Here he comes. I have a little bit of traffic hit. Right there is where the car changed from 1st to 2nd in the 2-speed transmissions. But he is still on a very good time. It's between him, Pirani and Pico right now as to who advances with the win from this first top heat in qualifying round 3. And it really is anyone's at the moment. It is incredibly close. Morone's a little bit off. Tironi and Greiner have been dropped by this lead group, so it really is between Pico, Coelho and Pirani as to who wins this qualifying heat. Ticking down, 5 seconds to go. No one's going to make 24 laps, I don't think, but I think it is going to be Coelho who takes it out. Either Coelho or Pico, it's impossible to gauge. Very, very close. Again, an incredibly competitive qualifying session, incredibly competitive qualifying heat, and with 5 of them across, with 5 rounds of qualifying, you really do get the very best across the whole weekend. So then, let's see how it shook out in the end then. And it was, in the end, it was Alberto Pico who takes the win in that heat. Crucial victory for the number 8 of Pico, and absolutely vital to stop the run of dominance that Coelho had in the earlier heats. Coelho still takes the second, so he'll have a first, second in the first 3 rounds of qualifying. That's still mightily impressive, of course. Andrea Pirani with a good result in 3rd. He needed that. Bit of a confidence boost there. 4th for Nicola Morone. 5th for Merlin Depter. 6th for Francesco Tironi. And then 7th for Andrea Bertin. What happened to the 2-time world champion? That is very strange at the early pace there, but something has not been quite right aboard that machine all weekend, that HB machine. But he's still got 2 rounds of qualifying to turn it round, and of course that Super Bowl later on today, which will be intense as anything. Dominic Greiner 8th, Mirko Salimi 9th, and then Patrick Schaefer completes the top 10. So that one done, let's move to the second of our top heats in qualifying round 3. Now this is the very cream of the crop. These are the very top seeds here this weekend. You won't find better drivers, on paper at least, coming into this weekend, and we've got some serious talent here. We've got 2 former European champions in this field, and another scenario as we saw in the last race. So John Ehrman will lead them off, the number 7 seed. The number 8 seed, Silvio Hackler. 2nd, Yilas Groschkamp, one of our 2 former champions in this field. He is a man to watch, and we spoke to him yesterday, who's feeling very confident about his chances, and crucially, he wants the sun stout. He likes a nice, hot, sticky track. Some drivers don't, he does. So watch for his car to really do the business out there today. And then Oliver Mack will roll off 4th. He was looking strong yesterday. 5th then for Dario Balestri in the Capricorn car. 6th for the number 2 of Robert Piche, who won both of his heats yesterday. So, like Coelho, if he can win a 3rd one here, that pretty much locks him in to the finals, and it'll be left to the others to scrap for the final positions in the lower finals and the Super Bowl later on. Lars Hoppe rolls off 7th, 8th for Simon Kurzbuch, 9th for Maximilian Vogel, and 10th to be Timu Lainu, another one of the HP team out there, and he was also showing some excellent pace yesterday, but was just blighted by a few little mistakes, few little issues, the car not quite right, and with these cars being so relentlessly fast, they are on an absolute knife edge in terms of handling. So if your setup is not quite there, we were talking to Carl Branson from the British team yesterday, and if your car's not quite there, it just bugs you, and you just don't have 100% confidence in your machine, and you really need that here today. So this will be a true acid test of who is on their A game in terms of setup and who isn't quite there yet. So the car's going through their motions early in the warm-up, and we'll just take you through a lap of the track here, following through here. Turns 1, 2, the first hairpin, now down to the EFRA hairpin. Slowest part of the track, the double apex left, down to the fastest part of the track, the HP carousel, round into the D'Agostini D, another hairpin, then into the final corner, complete the lap. Well, he's completing a lap into the pit lane. I think that was the number 1 of Dario Balestri we were following. Briefly there. Now we're following the number 10 car of Oliver Mack, the green car. Now, Mack and Balestri had a little bit of a coming together at the end of their 2nd round heat yesterday, and that caused some bodywork damage for Balestri's car, his Capricorn machine. So it looks to me like the car's fairly straightened out, but you wonder whether that may have affected the handle just a tiny bit. Doesn't appear to in the early stages, but I guess the true acid test will be on the timing screens. So we'll see how that shakes out here. About a minute left of warm-up here, and you'll see a lot of cars coming in and out of the lane here in the warm-up. Sometimes they'll be penalised for little things, but that's mostly during the actual heat itself. But during the warm-up, they'll just be fettling. This is their last chance. This will be their probably first live track action of the day. So they'll have this brief warm-up session, and that'll be it. If something's still not quite right in the car, you've got to nurse it through qualifying, or through this qualifying heat at least. Great view of the main straight here, and you see those starting blocks there, Le Mans style starts. Love to see them, can't wait to see them in action in the finals later today and onwards through the event. There's the hairpin. Here's the EFRA hairpin. This is the slowest part. It's right in front of our commentary position, actually. So you see them come down and then try and get on the gas as soon as possible. And I think coming out of that hairpin is going to be a very, if you're feeling particularly brave, that could be an overtaking spot there, because if a car's not quite as fast as you out of that corner, you've got a whole straight to be able to get the job done, but it's very difficult, as we saw briefly yesterday, to get up the inside for that double apex left, because ideally you don't actually want to be on the inside. The momentum is around the outside, carrying as much speed as possible, and we've seen some incredible speeds down that main straight into the HP carousel on the little speedometer, the little the speed trap we've got at the end of the straight. So here's the countdown, here we go. Can Robert Piche go 3 from 3 and lock himself into the final? Or will someone be able to stop him? Let's find out. Here we go. So John Ehrman leads them away. Ehrman in his ARC. And we've had Oliver Mack go off briefly already. But he gets back on. So we're still following Ehrman for the moment. As I say, it takes a couple of laps for the speeds to shake down and to get a true indicator of who's there or thereabouts. And these qualifying sessions are all about consistency. No good being just putting in a 12.9 or 12.8 one fastest lap. That'll serve you well in the Super Pole later, which is where 2nd through 5th or 6th, I believe, or the rest of the guys who did not qualify, the winner of the qualifying heats advances to the finals. But the Super Pole basically gives a second chance. It's like the last chance qualifier in Global Rallycross. It gives one guy an extra chance, but that is about your fastest lap overall. So that is a true test of speed. And Max so far would be well suited to that because he's done the fastest lap. Well, just as I say that, Robert Piche has just logged a 12.842. That is one of our fastest. That's one of our first sub 12 second laps of the morning. So where is Piche's car? A lot of very quick machines, very fast machines. It's just coming down to the EFRA hairpin now is Piche's car. The white number 2 will be up to the HP carousel now. The white car. There it is. And Piche will be under immense pressure. Or will he? He seemed pretty cool when we spoke to him yesterday on the pit walk. Remember, he's trying out some new parts on this car, on this Mugen car. He's trying out some new bits and is confident that they will do the job. Because that's always the fear. You bring new parts to an event, they're untested, do they work? Contrast that to Julius Groschkamp, who we spoke to, and he said he'd done a lot of testing miles coming up to this event at this facility here in Ecklingen, and so he felt very confident. But Piche was taking the opposite line, trying something new for this weekend, and right now it appears to be doing the business, and it's doing a very good job. Early on, it's a rotating experience. There's a good 4 or 5 guys in contention at the top end of town at the moment. Let's see if we can, as it changes again. Now, where's Silvio Hackler? He's the yellow car coming up to the HP carousel now, and he'll be through the D'Agostini D now. There he is, the yellow car coming through the street now. There he is. Bright yellow car. It's a good thing that a lot of these cars are very brightly coloured. It means we can see them very easily because they go so quickly. They're just a blur. They sound and go like 90s Formula 1 cars, and I mean that in the best possible way. So, we are tracking right now Silvio Hackler. To come through the HP carousel. Again, a lot of this track cambered in, so it's slightly banked in, and especially up at the carousel at the far end, that's where you feel that the most. So, through the EFRA hairpin now, should change to 2nd now, up to 60 miles an hour down this straight, through the carousel, let it slide through the D'Agostini D, and back to the start-finish line. When we spoke to Groschkamp yesterday, he talked about rear stability being absolutely pivotal around here. It is all about having a car that will stick as firmly as possible coming down the corners, and especially through the turn 1. We'll show you in a minute as we follow Hackler here. Here we go, around this corner here, you see the rear end jitter and jump. You'll see the wheels jump and hop across the track, and that's stopping them obviously getting the power down and going. So it is all about positioning the body, offsetting the wheels. There's a weight on the back to make sure those cars grip out the corner, especially down here. You want to get on the power as early as possible because you're going to feel it all the way down that straight coming through. So, see if we can pick up the number 1 of Dario Balestri, who's moving to the top of the standings. He's just coming up round to the EFRA hairpin now. He's the white and red car. He'll be coming up to the HP carousel any minute. There he is. And Balestri is up there again. There's about 4 or 5 cars still well in contention for this one. It is anybody's, but Piche was able to pull it out and be right there. I've just had an incident down in front of me, off camera, with the number 6 car, but we keep on board with Balestri. Down to the EFRA hairpin. And it was a classic case of you just hit the rumble strips a bit too hard. It throws the car completely off. They don't look that big compared to us, If we have another car, we have a car slow on the main straight. I think that's still the number 6 car, Timu Lainu, who once again, just not on it at the moment. Not quite there. That HB is very quick, we know that, but it's just not quite there over a 5-minute run right now. But Balestri is certainly there. It's between him, Piche and Hoppe at the moment, with 30 seconds still to go in this thing, as to who will shake down as the winner of qualifying round 3 in this final heat, in the top heat. So, it is literally anyone's. We're still on board with Balestri, who is putting on a clinic at the moment, as the car comes down into the lane. I think that might be the 8 of Silver Hackler, you know. Yes, it is. It just came down the lane briefly, so his qualifying run will be curtailed slightly. Tick down into the final seconds. Who is going to shake down as the winner? We've got 3 guys, the top 3 seeds, all predicted to do 24 laps. And that'll be quite something. 24 laps around here is an absolutely mind-blowing pace. As Balestri returns to the lane. That's him done. That's him over and out. And after another fast and furious qualifying session here in the top heat, in round 3 of qualifying for the EFRA 1/8 scale IC Euros. Let's have a look at how that all played out. And in the end, just like in the last heat, there will be no three-peats. It was Lars Hoppe that took that one out. In the number 3 car, a very good effort there from the ARC machine. He takes out that heat. We had 3 guys there, the top 3 seeds. That shows you the level that they're on, the pinnacle that they're on. They all did 24 laps, a phenomenal pace from those guys. So Hoppe takes the heat. Piche second then, just denied, just as Coelho was in the last heat. Piche second then, but he's still got 2 qualifying rounds to lock himself into the final, as has everyone else. Dario Balestri in the end shakes out 3rd. He'll be much happier with that one after the way his qualifying round 2 heat ended yesterday. Jilles Groschkamp 4th, Oliver Mack 5th in the number 10 seeded car. John Ehrman 6th in the end, Silvio Hackler 7th, 8th for Maximilian Vogel, 9th for Timu Lainu in the end, and Simon Kuursbuck in 10th place. In the end, his heat never really got going. So that concludes our coverage here on RC Racing TV of qualifying round 3. We'll be back for round 4 of qualifying. The top heats, once again, the very fastest out there as they continue their quest to lock themselves into the final. And we'll also have the fast and furious and white-hot intensity of Super Bowl coming up later. But for now, I'm Adam Johnson, along with Frank McKinney, Paul Bateman, and the RC Racing TV team here. Our coverage presented by HB Europe, D'Agostini Model Space, and EFRA. We'll see you back here soon.